Welcome to Abby Normal Brains, a feel-good podcast following two-time childhood cancer and brain tumor survivor, Abby.
I'm your host and the survivor, Abby. I'm joined by my mom, artist and caregiver, Jill. Together, we will try to uplift your day while bringing you more information on the world of childhood cancer.
On today's show, we have a special episode for you. We have captured the previously promised delirium trigger from Abby.
Potatoes!
This is where Abby is a little bit goofier than normal, and you have to see what exactly a caregiver has to deal with when a girl is a little bit goofy.
Maybe some potatoes.
Maybe some potatoes. Also, we have in store for you a special Halloween episode. Promising spooky stories and spooky jokes. And don't forget your in-house witch with your weekly tarot.
Ooh! Now here's the show.
You're in luck. It's happening sooner than I expected. As I was sitting here talking to Abby, trying to figure out what's the next thing we wanted to talk about after our tired podcast, Abby's getting more and more wore down. And she's starting to turn a little more random. I mean, she's not full on Abby mode, but we're getting there. This is the starts of it. I'm going to let her talk and we'll see where this podcast goes for a little bit. And then I'm probably going to get her some lunch and throw her in a nap.
So, yeah. At first I was sitting here talking and I was like, had a big yawn. And then it's like, is there anything you want to talk about? And I said, I don't know. I said potatoes. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm tired because I said potatoes. And I usually do that when I'm tired. So
when she's tired, she hollers out a random fruit or vegetable of the week. For the longest time, it was oranges. Like, that was like your phlebotomy thing. When you were like tired after your phlebotomies or anytime then, it was oranges. Was carrots in there for a minute? Or what am I thinking of?
grapes?
Grapes. That's what I was thinking of. Grapes. Yes, there's grapes. Oranges, grapes, and now potatoes. Potatoes is the newest addition to your fruit salad in your brain.
Yes. And potatoes, we're going to mush them and eat them until they're yummy.
Yummy. I'm not sure what to say to your potatoes other than
potatoes.
I like them better mashed. And then bacon, cheese, sour cream on top. It makes it real nice.
Loaded potatoes. Loaded mashed potatoes. Now you're making me really hungry.
You're welcome.
So tell me, what is it that makes you feel so silly when you get tired?
I don't know. My brain just starts thinking funny thoughts like, oh, and then I say them out loud. So I'm like, oh, this is funny. What about this? And then, like, my whole body's just like, yay!
What's a funny thought you're thinking of right now?
Lemon meringue.
Lemon meringue. Are you getting hungry? Because all your thoughts are leading to food.
And then I was thinking block party. But not just like, on the block. It's actually blocks, like cubes and triangles, a block party.
Cubes and squares and other blocks, triangles, all just having a block party. I honestly think when I'm looking for inspiration for comics, I need to tap into this. I could totally draw that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Because I know, what even led me into doing this is we're sitting here in my little art area is what I call it, my office, my work zone. And she was looking at one of the random things I have taped to the wall. I don't even know why I taped it to the wall, other than it was a failed experiment and it just kind of looked cool. But she's seeing faces in these green glue dots that I have on this thing on the wall.
Yeah, I see 2 eyes and then a huge mouth. And then there's a bat right above it.
A bat above its head. Did you see the face in this one over here with the glitter?
Oh, yeah, I do. There's the eye, the mouth, the nose, and it has 2 goofy eyebrows.
Oh, I thought this was an eye, this was an eye, this was the nose, this was its big old hair right there, like a toupee.
Oh, yeah.
Tiny
I
mouth,
see
too.
that a bang, and then another bang, and eye, nose, mouth, and then his big green face, because he got super sick after eating a lot of candy.
Was it Halloween and he went out trick-or-treating and got too much?
Yes.
Yes?
It was like the Teen Titans episode where they're like puking the Thundercats, like still go thing where after you eat too much candy with the wrappers on. I can't think of exactly, but yeah, because they dressed the Thundercats for that Halloween.
And there you're happy because that's your two favorite shows, Teen Titans Go and the Thundercats.
Yeah.
And we're not talking the new Thundercats. We're talking the old Thundercats. Like do we have that DVD? I know you have a shirt.
Yeah, I like the old ones best. I don't really like the new ones. Like, there was an episode of it with Teen Titans and Go, and I'm like, I don't care for it. Like, it was alright, and Potatoes.
I don't have any potatoes. I checked my potatoes last night and realized they had gone bad, and I should have got some when I went to the store, so I'm sorry. No potatoes.
Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
They wouldn't taste very good. They all have... Why don't you tell secrets on the farm?
Because potatoes have eyes and carrots have ears, right?
Carrots don't have ears.
Oh.
What has ears?
Oh, I thought corn.
Yes, corn.
Carrots. I said carrots, not corn. I was thinking corn, but I said carrots.
Yes, because the potatoes have eyes and the corn has ears. Woo! We are going downhill fast. I wonder if it's going to rain today. For those that didn't know, the barometric pressure can actually affect someone to the point that, like, for Abby, it makes her more tired and delirious. Or more Abby. So I'm wondering if it's going to rain today. I think I'm going to look that up. Here, you tell everybody what you're thinking right now while I look up and see if it's raining.
Well, I don't know. For some reason, I thought, I'm Applicious. I am Applicious. I just had an apple for breakfast with peanut butter, and I really liked it. I'd take a big scoop of the peanut butter with my apple and eat it, and it'd be so yummy. And then I was watching Halloween Wars, and they were making cool stuff, and then I was like, whoa, that's crazy. They can make a lot of cool stuff. And then I went downstairs to do a podcast with Mom, and I was like, whoa, this is awesome.
So yeah, there actually is some rain to the south of us right now. It looks to be moving in this area. We may get hit or miss, but it looks to be the barometric pressure is the thing that is helping accelerate our rambling, goofy girl here. What are you going to eat for lunch today?
I don't know. Oh, yeah. I was thinking Mac Cup at first, but I remember there's a leftover rice noodle thing in the fridge still. And I'm like, ooh, that sounds good. Like, one day I helped Mom make lunch. I think it was the day before yesterday or the day before that. And
yeah, 2 days ago.
Yeah, and I helped her make that. I was like, stirring, and she put some stuff in. I was just like helping out, and I basically did it myself, and it was awesome, and it tasted so good. It's urban butter, rice, and noodles, and it was nummy.
Nummy. I think you just made my stomach growl. Also, there's some leftover pizza in the fridge, too.
I think I want rice and noodles.
I know you do. She is a pasta girl. It is impossible to get her away from pasta.
Yes, it is. If we have leftover pasta in the fridge, red sauce, mac, any kind of pasta in the fridge, I'm like, I want that first before any of the other leftovers and eat it all.
Basically, if you ever want Abby to come over to your house and eat dinner, serve any red, white, mac, butter, whatever sauce, pasta. Just noodles and sauce and maybe some garlic bread, but as long as there's noodles and sauce that taste good, she's on it.
Yes, and I'll take any noodles and sauce that you can make or create, just not barbecue noodles. I don't like that.
Barbecue noodles? Oh, wow. That went sideways so fast. So yeah. Do you think we've made enough point about your delirium here? And actually the thing is this is still mild in my opinion. She actually gets even more goofy.
Like this? I just had to close your eyes and like this. Ah, my body is freaking out.
Now we are going into the laughs. So yes, this is what it's like when Abby has an Abby moment. And now I'm going to sign off the podcast and attempt to get her up the stairs and food in her and down for nap. I'm hoping to have her, it's 10:30 right now. I'm hoping to have her napping by 11:30, noon at the latest. Wish me luck.
Potatoes! Why didn't the skeleton climb the mountain? It didn't have the guts.
So, Abby, with Halloween approaching, tell me a scary story or something spooky that has happened to you. We all know that Mom has plenty of stories, so I could fill up a whole hour of stories. Mom is quite the ghost connoisseur, but on top of the fact that, people that are close to me, and I guess now people that aren't close to me are going to know, I actually do have a sixth sense or psychic abilities. My family can vouch for that. It's kind of odd. We talk to weird things all the time. Crazy stuff happens in my life, like daily, but I've learned to embrace it, and it's kind of fun. So, I got a story that even involves Abby in my brain right now, but I'm wanting to hear a story from Abby first. So, have I talked enough to give you time for a story?
Yes, I can think, I can't remember anything, I saw or anything in the hospital, but I know, it's not scary, but, it's a story where, sometimes I'm sitting in the living room where I can see, a cat that's not our cat, go through our kitchen, it looks like, but, it's...
The elusive ghost cat that runs through this house. I actually try to tell myself that it's not here, but I know it's here because I will literally be laying in bed and I will feel like Agnes has jumped up on our bed. And Agnes is our black cat that, she's 8 years old now. She's basically, we call her our baby kitty because she acts like a baby people. She literally will curl up in your arms. And she actually will, you'll see her follow stuff with her eyes sometimes. And you're like, what is she watching? But also, she sleeps with me at night, and there will be times that I will literally feel like she's curled up. And I feel weight up against my legs, and I will put my hand down, and there's nothing there.
Oh, dang.
Oh, dang. So, yeah, I don't disagree. I have seen the ghost cat so many times. Say, the spooky story that I can think of that contains you is way back when we did first move down here, and your daddy was getting back into farming. And I was actually pregnant with your sister, and you were the only child. You were only about 18 months old, year and a half old baby. And we moved into this over 100-year-old or almost 100-year-old farmhouse at the time. We knew the history of who had built it, the family. They actually had been close to my husband's family, their whole life. It's a very beautiful story. But nonetheless, it was an old house, and these people very much loved their house, which was very apparent by all the hauntings that happened at that house. I could probably fill a book with stories. I didn't even know if I still have all of the proof that I tried to obtain there years ago. I'd have to look at my computer, but I have stories. But either way, on this particular day, we had moved all our stuff in, and I was in the living room watching some TV after I had unpacked some stuff and was just relaxing for a minute, being, middle of summer, and I was 6 months pregnant. So you can imagine that was all kinds of fun. And Abby, who was an only child at the time, who is normally very quiet when she plays, she's very content with herself, and I could hear her talking, which is weird in itself because she's one of those, if she's playing imagination, she does it in her head. She doesn't really talk too much out loud. And so I listened for a minute, and she still kept talking. So I went into her bedroom, which was one of the bigger rooms in the house. And I said, hey, Abby, who are you talking to? And she looks at me and she's like, oh, hi, Mom. I'm talking to the nice lady over there. And she turns around and points towards the window. And she's literally just pointing at the window. There's nobody there. And I said, the nice lady right there, huh? And she's like, yeah. And I just kind of turned around and walked right out of the room okie dokie. It didn't seem anything harmful. Nothing seemed bad. It's just especially since I knew that the ladies actually knew my husband since he was a little boy, and they thought that he was great. So, it's them seeing his kids, I knew that they weren't in any problems. But boy, did they like to pick on me. I think it was just 'cause, I don't know. Maybe I am a pain in the butt. Probably that too. But also, they would always hide my keys. They would hide things. They would make things a little bit difficult. I remember the one time I was pregnant with Caitlin, they shook the entire staircase in the basement as I was coming up the stairs. There was the time that Emma was upset and I needed to get her pacifier from our bedroom, and I walked into my room, and standing at the end of my bed is this figure, and I had to walk through it to get to the other side of the room to get the pacifier to quell the screaming child in the other room. And you're stuck in a moment where you're thinking, do I walk through this thing or what? And I did, and I tell you what, it actually stopped me for a second, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not ever doing that again. Lesson learned. And that might be why they started picking on me, because I challenged them. I challenge things. I don't know. I have a problem with that.
Yes, you do sometimes.
Hey, thanks. So anyway, the spookiest story I could tell you all. This one probably goes back to when I was 16 years old. And this is actually my first experience of seeing something. I mean, until then I had all kinds of imaginary friends that I really could never figure out and thought maybe I was like a little wackadoo. I don't know. Maybe I am. But this was my first experience seeing something. And when I was 16, my friends and I, we like to go out to different cemeteries and check them out, see the old graves. Where I grew up, we actually had a cemetery that had what we called the witch's grave, which looked like it was made out of concrete. And it looked like a crystal ball or an orb on a bed of sticks or logs. And the lady that had passed away, the date said February 31st, and I can't remember the year, 1850s, I believe. I'm trying to be indescript so that I don't have too many people looking for this location, but the fact of the matter is, it garnered a legend. There was another cemetery that there was legend that there was an upside down cross in the back of it, and the ground was always soft every time you went out there, whether it was after a rainstorm or a drought, middle of summer, middle of winter. And I can vouch that every time I went out there, the ground always felt like it was turned over. It was weird. But anyway, we went to this other cemetery, which we hadn't really heard anything of. It just happened to be close to a friend's house. And we're like, let's just go check out this cemetery. Like a bunch of weirdos. And I must say, we were respectful. Let me add this in. We did not touch the gravestones, except for the handful of times I did a couple of grave rubbings onto paper with crayons. But we did not push anything over. We did not touch. We did not run through the graves. Dance, be respectful if you're going to visit cemeteries. This is the final resting place for people. And I mean, honestly, if you do want to talk about hauntings and things like that and things that make things happen, you go disturb where somebody's trying to rest, their final rest, and I promise you, you will be having an attachment. And that's just my advice from me. The psychotic psychic. Either I'm right or I'm crazy. That's kind of one of the things I'm embracing is that, I do see things that other people don't, and I do get told, and I know I have this ability. So either way, onward with this story. We drove out to this cemetery, and we were just sitting there kind of looking around, talking, and I look out the side. I look at my friend, and my eyes are drawn past my friend towards the window, and I see what looks like a figure of a person, because it was like dusk, it was getting dark, so I couldn't make it out for sure, but it looked like a person was walking towards that side of the car, the passenger side of the car. And I actually tipped my head over and looked, and I said, is that somebody walking up to the car? And my friend looked and was like, what the crap? And so we both were like, oh my god. Well, then I turned my head and look out the front window, and I kid you not, there's no way this could have happened, but this figure that I saw on the side of my car was walking towards the front of my car. And being 16-year-old who, just learned driving and stuff, my first instinct, I flip on my headlights. Nothing. It's just an empty field where we parked. Cemeteries to the left-hand side, roads in front of us, a couple, 100 yards, field, grass, rocks. And by that point, my heart's starting to go 100 miles. What did I just see? My friend was freaking out, so I said, let's go back into town. Let's get out of here. So we start heading out of the cemetery and down the country roads, and I looked in my rearview mirror, and I saw two red glowing eyes out of this dark figure and the whole time, I forgot to mention earlier, it had a cowboy hat. That's what made it distinct. It was red shirt, a black vest, and a black cowboy hat. And in the face, you couldn't make out anything other than red glowing eyes. And that's what I saw in my rearview mirror. And I mean, we went to town to the first lighted place, which happened to be a Hardee's where we had some friends working. And I jumped out of the car and ran into that building as fast as I could. And I think I sat in there for at least half hour to an hour talking to my friends before I was talked into getting back into my car.
Okay, now that's interesting and kind of funny at the end.
I know, so that was probably, and I say that's my scariest story just because that was the time that freaked me out the most. You could probably ask anybody on the other side. It takes quite a bit to freak me out. You can even ask Abby. The kids have tried to scare me in the house, and it takes a lot, doesn't it, Ab?
Exactly. All I do is just go boo, and I really don't scare anyone, but it's fun.
Yeah, and then we just walk into the room, and Abby's like, ah!
I seriously do that. Like, I'm not paying attention to them. Like, I'm writing my journal or something. I look up, and there they are. I'm like, oh my god!
Should I do my laugh, Abby? Yeah? Okay. Go say yes so they approve.
Yes.
Abby approves before I. Happy Halloween, everyone. Hey all, the Psychotic Psychic here. Either I'm right or I'm crazy with your Halloween week reading. This is where I take the 13th card of an unshuffled tarot deck and I tell you what to expect for the week. And for today's reading, the first card I have drawn is the Six of Cups reverse. This says need to incorporate the past and perhaps painful memories into the present. And I'm not gonna lie, if we don't think of De Morte or Halloween or All Saints Day or Day of the Dead or whatever you want to call this day, that it does call to all of us to think of the past, those that have passed, things that have passed, memories. Bring it into now. Quit hiding from it. Quit feeling in pain. Quit, running away from things that are part of what have made you. And to further go with this, the 14th card we have drawn from the Major Arcana, Transformation. This means transformations, the need to allow something to die in order to create room for new. Painful change that is necessary, creating life out of death. And not even talking psychic, but from my own real world experience, I know that if I incorporate the things that are from the past, the hurts, the people that have passed, the things that have caused me pain into my future, if I can reconcile those emotions, if I can get through that, I can transform into my next phase of life for my next me. And if I can do that, I know that you can too. So go ahead and feel your feelings. Deal with your past. Deal with what's going on and watch as new horizons rise. This has been your Psychotic Psychic with your 13th card tarot reading. We hope you enjoyed our special spooky Halloween episode.
I hope you have more insight on the Delirium trigger, and if you don't know what we're talking about, go back to the first episode.
Absolutely. We did talk about in podcast 1 regarding her being tired that she gets a little delirious, and now you can say you know exactly what happens to Abby when her delirium trigger has been hit.
Thank you for listening to Abby Normal Brains. Have a great day!